This video was brought to you by my wonderful channel members. They are the ones that actually voted on this topic for this month. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, I will leave a link below in the description box. It comes with a bunch of perks. We have a book club, we have a private Discord server. I do content polls once a month. You get early access to all my videos, so definitely check out the perks. And thank you to my channel members for your continued support. I love y'all. I love our conversations, so thank you for supporting me. Hello everyone. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ivy Corvus, and today we're going to be talking about health, fitness, and weight loss, and specifically spells and rituals that you can do, magically speaking, to really enhance your results. This video is meant for occultists, witchy people, spiritual people, so if you randomly clicked on this video and you are not part of that world, this is not going to be the health and fitness video for you. Because in this video, I'm going to be talking about spiritual ways that you can enhance your fitness goals, meet your goals quicker, better, more efficiently, and there's going to be a lot woven into this video, a lot. So feel free to use the timestamps down below. The first part of this video is going to be me doing talking head style. So I'm going to sit here and talk to you for a little bit because I really want to discuss astral work, servitors, sigils, and world building and all that stuff. And then the second half of the video is going to be on the go, where I'm actually going to take you throughout my day and then show you all the little rituals that I do to help me stay on track and to meet all of my weight loss or health goals. And in this video, you are going to see a totally different side of me than I normally show on this channel, because I usually on this channel I talk about witchcraft and the occult and things like that. I have my professor cap on usually, where I'm discussing ideas and teaching topics, etc. In this video, I'm putting on my healthcare practitioner hat. So for those that don't know, I am a healthcare practitioner. I do want to say I am not a registered dietitian, but I do have a lot of continuing education in nutrition. I have formal education in physiology and pathology, biology, anatomy, you name it. I'm really interested in just the physical body and how to live the best, most healthy life possible. Did I add in kinesiology? I do have formal training in kinesiology as well. So I'm going to be putting on those hats today. I'm going to be talking to you about health, fitness, weight loss, all that stuff. I want to quickly talk about my journey here, just in case you're not familiar with me and kind of the perspective that I have on this. For those that don't know, I was obese growing up. I struggled with my weight pretty heavily until I was about 15, 16 years old. It was my greatest source of shame. It led to a lot of unhealthy eating habits and a weird relationship with food. And then I started dancing in high school, and let me tell you, dancing is, in my opinion, peak athleticism because I got really fit, really in shape. After high school, when I went into college in my early 20s, I ended up really getting into bodybuilding. That was something, lifting weights was something that was really important to me. And that's kind of when I started doing my continuing education in nutrition as well. But my weight fluctuated my entire life. Then in my late 20s, I was diagnosed with some health problems, and unfortunately the health complications, the chronic health issues that I have really impact my ability to keep my weight down. It is very easy for my body to gain weight, and so I have to be really conscious of what I'm putting in my body, how much I'm moving my body. So my perspective in this video is coming from someone who has health issues that really cause me to gain weight, and also things I've picked up along the way to kind of rewire a relationship with food. With that said, I want to start this video out with some mundane advice first before we get into magical and spiritual rituals that you can do on top of your health and fitness routines. So the first thing that I want to say here, if you're incorporating witchcraft or the occult or any sort of spiritual aspect into your health and wellness and weight loss routines, you have to match the mundane with the metaphysical. You cannot expect to do a spell for weight loss and then do absolutely nothing in your mundane life in order to help that spell be successful. Magic is always supplemental to the actions that you're already taking in the mundane world. Yes, magic and spirituality and spells and all of that stuff can really help you stay motivated, can help you eat cleaner, can help your weight loss happen faster, and in my experience help you be more successful overall, but it does not override what you're going to be doing in your mundane life. If you are doing things in your mundane life that directly counteract what you're trying to do spiritually and magically, it's not going to work out. Meaning you cannot cast a spell for weight loss and then eat a bunch of garbage junk food and then never move your body. It just doesn't work like that. So advice number one is the mundane has to match the magical. You're definitely going to want to find a lifestyle that works for you. And yes, this is is a lifestyle. So you'll want to find something that is sustainable over a long period of time, so you're not constantly binging or going through these diet cycles or going through these really intense workouts that you're doing for 6 months and then you stop doing it because you hate it and then you gain all of that weight back. So finding small changes that you can do every single day to ultimately get yourself into a really healthy lifestyle that is sustainable for years is really the best way to go. I don't want to give any direct advice on what diet you should be eating, of course, because that is going to vary per person. I'm not going to sit here and say that vegan is the best, paleo is the best, Mediterranean is the best, because what's going to be the best for you is ultimately going to be the one that works best for your body, and we are all so different. Same goes with exercise. In my daytime career, I have people ask me all the time, what's the best exercise for weight loss, or what's the best exercise I can do for XYZ? The best exercise that you can possibly do is the one that you'll actually do, is the one that you will actually keep up with and continue doing. So find some sort of fitness routine that is actually enjoyable for you to continue doing. Next piece of advice I have for you is to figure out your why. Why are you doing this in the first place? Before you set any sort of goals for fitness, health, weight loss, you got to figure out what really motivates you to do this. That way, during those days where you're really struggling with your motivation, you're having a hard time going to the gym or eating right for the day, whatever it is, you can think back to your why and be reinvigorated as to what you're doing here and what the overall goal is. Whether you need to lose weight for severe health reasons, or maybe you just want to lose weight to look good. That is an absolute valid reason. If you just want to look good in a bikini, that's a fine reason. So you have to figure out your why and what's really going to motivate you on the days where you do not have the energy or the motivation to do what needs to be done. The next mundane piece of advice that I want to give is you have to be able to create a plan for how to stay consistent. So this kind of matches what I was saying previously. Start really small and make really small changes over the course of 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, however long it is. And by the end of a 12-month period, you have a completely different life because you started slowly incorporating all of these healthy habits. You'll be much more successful if you incorporate habits slowly over time and do habit stacking rather than cutting out everything cold turkey and trying to take on all these new behaviors and habits and patterns. Statistically, you are more likely to fail if you try to do something absolutely drastic. Now, sometimes there are exceptions to this, of course. If you have a health issue that really requires you to go on a strict diet or a strict exercise regimen, etc. Again, I'm not trying to give diet fitness advice too specifically here. You're gonna have to tailor that to what your own body needs. But in general, starting small and adding in little things over time means greater success. So for example, maybe for the first month, you decide that you're going to try to cut out caffeine, or maybe you decide that you are going to cut out one carb that you tend to eat a lot, whether it's rice, pasta, bread, whatever. Just as a note, I eat a very high protein, low carb diet because that's what feels good to my body, but carbs are not the devil. I do not want to pretend that carbs are the devil. Some people really need them as part of their diet. So I'm not saying to totally go carb free. That's just something that personally works for me. But you just have one goal for that entire month. And then maybe month 2, you decide that you want to increase your vegetables to 4 to 5 servings a day of eating vegetables. And then you do that for the second month. And then the third month, you start incorporating walks and you start walking a mile every single day, or maybe a mile 5 days a week. And then after 3 months, you are no longer eating a carb, you're eating more vegetables, and you're walking a mile 5 days a week. So slowly introducing all of these healthy behaviors can be really helpful. I personally have never been successful going hardcore with a 90-day fitness program and severely restricting what I'm eating at the same time. Absolutely not. That may work for some people, doesn't work for me. Another tip I have for you, and this is regarding food specifically, is add things to your diet rather than taking things away. I know I just talked about, cutting out carbs, but really there is this mindset shift. When you shift your perspective to adding things into your diet versus taking things away, it's easier to maintain a diet like that. And what I mean by this is, I don't personally count calories at all anymore. What I do is I focus on the macro and micronutrients in my diet and making sure I hit a certain number a day. So I have to eat this much protein a day. I want to make sure I'm getting my vitamins. So I have to eat at least 1 orange a day and 4 to 5 cups of greens or something like that. If you encourage yourself to add more things into your diet and then fully lift the restrictions on everything else, you can have a bowl of ice cream if you want. You can have that bowl of pasta if you want, as long as as you eat your 5 cups of green first, as long as you eat your orange first and your carrots and all of those things that you need for your macro and micronutrients. It's so liberating to know that I have no restrictions and I can eat whatever I want to eat as long as I'm eating all of this other stuff too. So it's not about restriction. There is no restriction in my diet. But I will say, by the time I'm done eating all of those fruits and vegetables and all that protein that I need to consume a day, I'm full. I am so full. I do not want a bowl of pasta. I don't want a bowl of ice cream. On the weekends, if I want to go out and eat whatever I want to eat, that's totally fine. But that perspective shift has been so valuable for me, shifting that mindset of adding things in rather than taking things away. That way you're not always feeling so deprived. There's nothing worse than being on a diet and you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, I'm not allowed to eat this, 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 and this. Nobody wants to do that. That's not fun. So lift those restrictions, allow yourself to eat those as long as you eat all the healthy stuff first. Last piece of mundane advice before I get into the rest of this. I know this is a very long chunk here that I'm talking about mundane advice, but try not to give too much. This is something I'm very, very passionate about in my mundane life. So I'm trying my best to keep it short. Surround yourself with health and fitness inspiration. So if you have an Instagram, follow influencers that make you feel good. If you're on YouTube, follow some other influencers there that make you feel good. And I'm talking about influencers that actually motivate you, not influencers that make you feel like crap about yourself. If you're following someone on Instagram and all they post is these bikini shots where they look skinny and beautiful, that's great for them. But if it sparks some sort of jealousy or if it makes you feel inferior anyway, you look at that photo and you say, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna look like that, unfollow them. If they're not inspiring you, unfollow them. It can be really helpful too to follow people that have a similar body type to you. So if you tend to be a little bit more curvier, finding curvy people to follow and watching their journey, it can be just so inspirational. So I definitely recommend surrounding yourself with people that are doing the same things as you and that have similar goals. Now that we've got all the mundane advice out of the way, not all, I could do an entire video on mundane advice, but you're here for magical advice. So that is what I'm going to focus on for the rest of this video. So in this section of the video, I want to talk about sigils, servitors, and astral work, because I think these are some incredible psychological tools that you can use to stay motivated and reach your goals a lot faster. The very first thing that I recommend you do is to create a sigil for your fitness goal, whatever it is, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's weight loss, create a sigil. If you're not familiar with what a sigil is, I've got a whole video on that. I will link it in the description box, but it's basically a symbol that you create from your conscious mind, and then you implant that symbol into your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind speaks in images rather than words, and that symbol becomes a magical tool, and it subconsciously manifests throughout your day when you're not even thinking about it. So I love working with sigils, and also if you create a sigil for your fitness goal, you can incorporate that sigil into every other ritual that you do. Throughout this video, you're going to be seeing a bunch of different rituals that I do, and I use the same sigil for every single ritual. So definitely create a sigil. Check out my video on that if you're not familiar. If you already know what a sigil is though, I definitely recommend being very selective about what words that you use for your sigil, because if you say something like, I lose 10 pounds or whatever it is, because you have to have an intention phrase usually to create a sigil depending on the method that you use. I would not advise using this wording because, for example, the universe could give you an illness like the flu and then you could lose 10 pounds, yes, but that wasn't really the way that you wanted it to manifest. That was a really awful, terrible experience potentially. So be careful with your wording because you don't want to lose 10 pounds in an unhealthy way. You want to lose it in a healthy way. So what I do for my sigils is I focus on my goal weight. So let's say your goal weight is 150 pounds. I would make an intention phrase that says, I weigh a healthy 150 pounds. Emphasis on the healthy part of it, because that means you are fit, you are strong, you did not get that with any sort of illness. So it just kind of covers your bases. Again, you can really do whatever intention phrase you want, but that is something that I recommend, is figuring out what your goal weight is and your fitness goals, and then adding the word healthy into that intention statement. I want to take a moment to show you some vision boards, because vision boards is another thing that I wanted to talk about where you can weave in some of that sigil magic. So I have 2 vision boards, and most of you, if you're familiar with my channel, you've already seen this first vision board, so I'm not really going to go over it too much. But I really love vision boards, and then also incorporating magical elements into it, certain powders, certain candle wax strips strippings. You can do your spell work over the top of the vision board, adding plant correspondences. So for example, I have this corner here for my nutrition and growing things in the garden. And then over here, I have this section on adventure and exercise and more fitness related goals. This vision board is just for 2024 in general, and it kind of encompasses my entire life. I will link another video in the description box where I show the creation of this vision board and all the different components that you can weave into a vision board beyond just the mundane. There's so much metaphysical stuff that you can weave into a board like this. Here is specifically my weight loss vision board. It's a lot smaller, but what I ended up doing is I took my sigil, I put it on these envelopes, and actually these envelopes are removable, but I have one for measurements and one for weight loss. And inside these envelopes, I have a card or a piece of paper where I've written down all the dates for the rest of this year, as well as my current measurements, and then I can just continue updating it as the year goes on. So this is where I have like an actual specific plan. For me, I wanted to focus on measurements rather than weight loss, so I really use this one a lot more. And the reason for that is because I don't really care about weight loss. I really enjoy lifting weights and I want to become incredibly strong. Being skinny is not really a goal of mine, so I like to go off measurements rather than weight, because as I'm losing fat, I'm also gaining a ton of muscle, because that's what I want. That's the goal for my workouts. So measurements are a lot better of a way for me to be able to keep track of my progress. And then over here, these pictures are really curly, but I have some pictures of me when I was really in the best shape of my life, and it really just kind of motivates me. So you can add some additional pictures here of you at some point in your life when you were really in shape or at peak performance, or you can add additional pictures here that aren't you, that are just inspiring. So definitely recommend setting up some sort of vision board and then incorporating your sigil into this. One more note about sigils. One of my favorite ways to charge and activate sigils is through physical exertion, particularly with physical exercise. So if you're familiar with sigils already, after you create the sigil, there is a process of charging that sigil and activating it, which involves implanting that sigil into your subconscious mind. And you can basically do this in any sort of altered state of consciousness. So you can do this through meditation. My personal favorite is through mantra meditation. And then you can also do it in states of physical exertion. It's almost like those moments in a workout where you're starting to see spots a little bit and you're getting a little bit of that workout high. That is the perfect time to implant a sigil. So take your fitness sigil and put it on a little sticky note and put it on your workout gear. And then all you have to do in the moment of working out, when you're sweating, you're breathing hard, you're hitting that point where you feel like you're slipping into an altered state of consciousness, you would stare at the sigil. So for me, I really love weightlifting. Again, one of my goals is to get strong, not skinny. So weightlifting is my thing. And when I'm lifting weights, usually on the very last set of lifting weights, I will stare at the sigil, and you can recharge it as many times as you want. There are virtually no rules with sigils. You do not always have to just burn them to activate them. You can put them everywhere if you want. You can put them technically anywhere you want, anywhere that it's going to actually work for you. I know a lot of people say that you have to either burn the sigil or put it out of sight, out of mind. And I think for the most part, that's a general good rule to follow. However, there are situations like with health and fitness and weight loss where I don't put it out of sight, out of mind. I have that sigil on my weights or my other fitness gear so I can stare at it while I'm working out. You can also hide it in your kitchen somewhere, so it's helping you manifest while you're cooking. Just remember to charge and activate your sigils through an altered state of consciousness, which is specifically through like meditation, intense physical exertion, etc. One of the easiest spells that you could probably ever do for weight loss is to work with waning moon water. I'm sure you've probably heard of moon water before. It's basically where you take some water, you set it out under the moonlight for a night, or you can even put it out for a couple nights in a row, and that water gets infused with the energy and the magic of the moon. But waning moon water specifically is really great for weight loss, because if you think about the moon cycle, there is symbolism in every aspect of the moon cycle. New moons mean something, waxing moons mean something, full moons mean something. The waning moon is specifically when the moonlight is now disintegrating and it is moving back from a full moon state to a new moon state. It's a great time for shedding just in general. And so consider using waning moon water in your spells for weight loss. Now you can make this as simple as taking some water, setting it outside under the moonlight when the moon is waning, the next morning collecting that water, and then you can just drink it. You can also add it to ritual baths, which is what I prefer to do. So create a weight loss bath for yourself, which is where you make a little bubble bath for yourself. You can throw in some plant correspondences that correspond to weight loss, which we will also talk about in a moment. And then as you pour your waning moon water into your your bath and as you're submerging yourself into the bubbles, you would visualize all these blockages in your body being broken up, flushed out of your body, all the toxins removed, visualizing yourself slimming down, and visualize yourself at the weight that you want to be. If you want to kick this up a notch, you can also incorporate your sigil that we talked about previously. So take your fitness sigil and you can either place it on the underside of the lid of your moon water, or you can just take a piece of paper, put your sigil on it, and then put the waning moon water right on top. Let that infuse overnight under the waning moon. Another thing to consider is incantations. You can add an incantation to this right before you drink the waning moon water or right before you add it to your ritual bath. We're going to get into incantations and food mantras a little bit later in this video, so we will talk about that, but you can always add that into this as well. Another practice to consider is charming a specific piece of jewelry to wear every single time you work out, every time you're cooking a healthy meal for yourself, whenever you're doing any sort of action that pertains to your fitness and wellness goals. I really love working with sunstone. There's a lot of different crystals that you can use. It just depends on what your actual goal is for health, fitness, and weight loss. But for me, I find that sunstone is just so effective for health in general, no matter what your goal is, because sunstone just brings such healthy vitality and energy to the body, at least in my experience. So pick a crystal that you really resonate with and then go through a process of charming your jewelry using your weight loss sigil. I'm not going to really discuss how to charm jewelry in this video, otherwise the video will be way too long, but I will link my video below on amulets and talismans, which shows an entire process of how to charm jewelry. So feel free to watch that video if this is something that you're interested in, but feel free to incorporate crystals and then doing an additional routine to actually program this crystal with your specific fitness intention. And then you can also take your waning moon water and you can dab your finger with it and anoint your charmed jewelry. Every month when you renew your batch of waning moon water, you just go back and anoint your charmed jewelry once again. Consider also making a powder for yourself, an incense powder that you can use not only in spell work, but that you can also burn as part of your ritual experience when you're working out, when you're cooking food, etc. This smells amazing and I can smell it from here. It's so delicious. So depending on your health goal, the correspondences that you use in a powder or in an incense bun like this can really vary, but I definitely recommend working with cinnamon because cinnamon has been shown to boost the metabolism. I recommend working with peppermint. Peppermint has been shown to reduce appetite. You can also incorporate other stimulating plants such as ginger, cayenne, pepper, cardamom. So do a little bit of research, figure out what's going to work for your goals specifically, whether it is getting stronger, whether it is losing weight, whatever it may be, and create a incense blend for yourself. This seriously, oh, it smells so good. I want to burn it right now. I will also link below my video on incense, how to really create these powders in the first place and how to create a really nice blend. And then also how to burn these powders, because you're going to want to create a whole ritual experience. When you walk into your workout, it's not just a workout. It is a full-blown ritual. We're going to talk about visualization techniques next, but really envision when you walk into a workout, you have an altar set up where you can burn a little bit of incense. You can take a little moment to do a 5-minute meditation and visualize where you want to be, and just making the whole experience feel very, very magical every time that you do something for your health and fitness goal. Let's talk about servitors. I'm not going to go into what a servitor is in this video. If you're not aware, I will put that video in the description box as well. There's going to be tons of resources in the description box, but you can create a magical entity, a servitor, to help assist you with your workouts. You can either create them to help you stay motivated when it comes to actually getting yourself to the gym or doing your home workouts, whatever it is. You can create a servitor to help you eat healthy and be motivated to eat healthy, or to find enjoyment in incorporating all of these nutrients into your diet. So there's a lot of versatility with servitors, and what I love about these magical entities is that you can invoke them into your ritual space, in this case in your workouts or when you're cooking healthy food for yourself, and you can turn it into an occult ritual rather than just sitting in your kitchen making a salad. You can take a moment to quickly invoke your servitor in that moment as you're preparing your food to help you get excited and really motivated to eat this wonderful, delicious food in front of you. I personally have this servitor that really kind of monitors my mental health as a whole and really helps me with motivation and also my energy levels. So I think playing around with creating a servitor for your energy levels, if you're a very very low energy person and you need something to really kind of boost you up to even get off the couch to do something in the first place, consider creating a magical entity that helps boost your energy levels. Now let's talk about other types of astral work with psychological archetypes, and then also inner temple work or working with your mind palace, what have you. Again, if you're not familiar with those terms, this is not a beginner video, so I will link my videos for the world building and mind palace work, and then also my video for psychological archetypes below. When it comes to mind palace work or inner temple work, I have a red room inside of my Gothic mansion. I've talked about this before, where there's a place that I go inside my mind, and I use visualization to do this. Although visualization is not always necessary, you can always paint, like make art out of your inner temple or your mind palace. You can make a graphic on your computer, etc. So if you're not into visualization, you can always make a physical representation and then just have that picture up while you're doing your workouts. But I have this red room that I go into for my workouts, and it has been such a game changer for me. Before I go into any workout, I visualize myself entering my mind palace, walking up the stairs, turning to the right, and then I visualize a key. There's different types of keys that unlock different doors inside my mind. And so I take the key that unlocks the red room, I go and open the door, and I am in this room surrounded by the color red or crimson, which very much relates to Mars. Mars is the god of war. Mars is a lot of energy. So I definitely recommend working with Mars, by the way, just as a side note, for specifically energy levels. If you're wanting your motivation and your drive to be increased, it's a lot of masculine energy as well, which is great for workouts. But I go into this room that is all red, and I've taken some time to visualize what's on the walls, and it's all things that make me so motivated and make me feel immensely powerful. So when I'm stepping up to the squat rack, I take a moment to visualize that red room, I go inside, and I feel powerful right before I begin a set. And you can do this kind of astral work with your psychological archetypes as well. I think in that psychological archetypes video, I talked about an archetype that is my warrior. She kind of goes by many names, but she's very, very aggressive. So aggressive. So sometimes I will also go into the closet inside my mind palace inner temple and put on this archetype. So I am invoking this energy specifically for my workouts, and I become the warrior in that moment. So consider potentially working with Mars, working with psychological archetypes, creating a room inside your inner temple or your mind palace. Astral work in general, I feel, is so underutilized and not really talked about that much, but it has definitely been one of the best psychological triggers that I have used for my fitness. With all that said, I think I'm done with the talking piece of this video, and I really just kind of want to take you and show you a bunch of little rituals. I've got tons of spells that I'm going to show you in this video. So let me just take you along and show you what I do. Good morning and welcome to my not renovated kitchen. This is a kitchen that we still need to renovate, and it looks the exact same as it did in 1987. Okay, so please ignore that. First thing I recommend doing is getting a food mantra, or some sort of mantra that you can say to yourself, or some sort of phrase rather, for every meal, every workout. And this becomes a little spell every time you mix in your protein into your shake, anytime you're cooking dinner, anytime you're working out, that you have a very simple phrase, a very simple incantation that you can say every single time. So for me, you can totally use the same one as me. I use strong mind, strong body, I am health, I am body. And so I will say that little incantation every single time I'm preparing food and every single time I'm working out. This morning, I am way too lazy to actually make a protein shake, so I am literally going to take my protein and mix it with water before my workout, because I cannot be bothered, okay? By the way, this is one of my favorite protein powders because it's plant-based, so it doesn't have that nasty whey protein in it, and it's organic, it has a bunch of good stuff in it, and it's pretty cost-friendly. I know there's a ton of protein powders out there that are a lot better, but I find that they are way too expensive. I cannot afford them. So the Orgain protein, I feel like, is a nice happy medium where it has good clean ingredients, it's plant-based, and it doesn't cost like a total fortune. Also, you could probably mix this, you know, with like oat milk or something, or almond milk, whatever it is that you want to do, but I am literally so lazy this morning. I am just mixing it with water. I think a lot of people would think this really disgusting, but I actually don't mind the flavor. I think it's totally fine. Strong mind, strong body, I am health, I am body. Strong mind, strong body, I am health, I am body. Strong mind, strong body, I am health, I am body. Another thing that you'll see me do is I like to incorporate my Heptagram Ritual into a lot of stuff. So like I mentioned, I really enjoy working with Mars because Mars increases energy levels. It's really that aggressive energy that I need for my workouts. But you could work with other planets for health too. I feel like working with the sun would be really beneficial because the sun brings all this wonderful vitality to us. So I think the sun should be considered. You can maybe even consider Venus as well for a different kind of flavor if your workouts have a little bit more of a feminine flair. If you're doing something a little bit more intuitive and free flowing, like let's say you're going to do some yoga or some dance or something, I think invoking Venus into your ritual space would be really lovely. But my Heptagram Ritual, I'll link that in the description box as well. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. A lot of the stuff I'm talking about in this video, you kind of need to have some prior knowledge. It would be really difficult for me to explain the backstory of literally everything. But when you see, if I'm ever doing like this over something, it's usually because I'm doing my Heptagram Ritual and I'm invoking Mars or Venus or the sun just really quickly and efficiently into that space. God, my kitchen is so ugly. We're gonna try not to focus on that, okay? But planetary magic can be really effective. Definitely check out my Heptagram Ritual if you're looking for very quick, efficient ways to invoke planets for any given moment.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it.
So we have our home gym in this shed. We have a shed out back, and that is where we have our weights and our squat rack and things like that. I feel very lucky that we have an at-home gym because even though it looks a little ghetto, it's a little ghetto in here. At least this makes sure that I have absolutely no excuse to skip gym day because it's literally in my backyard. One of the things that I wanted to talk about with workouts or just health and fitness routines in general, it is so helpful to dedicate your fitness ritual to someone else or to something else, some other entity that it is that you're working with. It's such a great offering. So let's say, for example, you're working with a god or a goddess. Maybe you're working with an ancestor, or you are working with a servitor, a magical entity that you created yourself. Use your workouts as offerings. So if you're working with an ancestor and you're wanting to venerate them, or maybe you're just having them help you in certain areas of your life, maybe them seeing you work out is something that would genuinely make them happy. Our ancestors were survivors. That's why we're still here on this earth. They were survivors, they were warriors, hunters and gatherers, all of that. And so if you're working with your ancestors, make this part of your ritual and say, I am becoming a warrior, or I'm becoming stronger for you, for our ancestral lineage. Or like I said, if you're working with a god or goddess where it is appropriate to offer physical fitness, and it doesn't have to be always a masculine entity. I know some people that work with Freya or Aphrodite, and in that category of just beauty and divine feminine, you can incorporate your workouts into that offering because you're taking care of this wonderful temple, this wonderful vessel that has been given to you. So make your workouts offerings. Don't just do it for yourself. It's so much easier, I have personally found, to do things for other people than it is sometimes to do things for ourselves. It's very easy to care for others and then forget about our own needs. So pretend like you are doing this for someone else and not just you. In my workouts, I work with the Horn God. The Horn God really helps me tap into my divine masculine. And so part of my work with the Horn God is doing these workouts on a regular basis and giving my sweat, giving my tears, giving my physical exertion to him. And that strengthens our relationship and his level of wanting to work with me. But my arms are shaking, I am exhausted, so let's go make some dinner. Here's a super lazy person's version of a healthy dinner. Some salmon that my partner caught in Alaska. Did you catch it in Alaska? Canada, somewhere up there. Broccoli with some really high quality aged cheese because we are cheese snobs and we don't eat regular medium mild cheddar in this household. And that's it, super easy. Now we're getting to the point in the video where we're really going to start layering spell work. So I'm going to be bringing in a bunch of different components that I've discussed in this video. I love candle spells, and I specifically love working with figurine candles because they're just such great representations of the intention of the spell. So I recommend getting a figurine candle that represents your body. This candle I ended up getting from Fifth Coven Candle Company. This is not a sponsored video. I just really, really love their figurine candles because I think they're so beautiful. But what you're going to do first is you are going to carve on the candle I am healthy and then your goal weight. Again, we're including the I am healthy part because we want to achieve that goal weight in a very healthy and sustainable way. And once you have finished carving your candle, you're going to place it on a fire safe dish. I just have a plate here with some sand. This is a small candle, so the sand should be okay. And I really want to utilize the red. Again, working with Mars, I want to work with as close to crimson as I possibly can for a lot of this spell work. Also, the sun is kind of represented here as well with the yellow plate. But you've carved I am healthy and your goal weight into the candle. Now it's time to take the incense powder that you've made. If you haven't done this, that's totally fine. This is just something extra that you can incorporate. So I want to weave in some of this powder, and you can even add whole plant correspondences, whatever you want to do here. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. But I just want to create a little bit of a protective circle around the candle. And then you are going to take your piece of jewelry. Again, if you don't have a piece of jewelry, that's totally fine, just an additional element. And assuming this piece of jewelry has already been anointed with Waning moon water, maybe you haven't actually charmed this jewelry yet. Maybe you've just worn it in your workouts, but you have anointed it with Waning moon water. You can actually use this ritual to charm this piece of jewelry. I want to delicately add this to my candle spell. And as the candle burns, I'm going to have to kind of be wary of where it's burning because I obviously don't want the wax to leak into the actual necklace. So I will move the necklace if it gets to that point. But for right now, I wanted to add this around the candle. Very, very simple way to charm your jewelry. And then you would light this candle up, which I will do in a moment. And when this candle is lit, you can say your incantation, strong mind, strong body, I am health, I am body, or whatever your version of that is. Or you can simply visualize yourself at the goal weight or at the peak fitness level that you want to be at. And this is where you're just going to do your regular general energy work for any spell that you would do. Good morning. It is springtime. You can tell because look at my blueberry bushes. I'm so excited because my blueberry bushes are budding. You can hear the birds chirping in the background probably. They are going crazy today. But I wanted to bring you out to my garden because even though I don't really have anything growing in here yet, it's not quite past the last frost date yet, so I can't plant any of my starts or my seeds. But I wanted to come out here and talk about plant spirits for a moment and just connecting to not only the plants that you're ingesting, but the plants that you're putting in your powders, your incense blend, plants that you're putting in your ritual bath, etc. I recommend really developing a deep relationship to a couple different plants, growing them yourself if possible. If you live in an apartment, growing things in pots. I did that for years. Actually, these exact blueberry bushes, I grew these in pots for probably 5 years on my apartment balcony before I moved into a house where we built these garden beds and where I could actually plant them into the ground. So it definitely is possible. But did you know that plants grown at home are usually a lot more nutrient rich than the plants that you buy in store? So you can hit your micronutrients a lot easier by growing your own plants. Also, statistically speaking, those who garden are way more likely to eat more vegetables. I've got my raspberries over here that are starting to grow again in that bed. And yeah, I wish I could show you a lot more, but I still need to weed things out. This is last year's crop that I still need to rip out, turn the soil, and do all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to take you out here this morning because I think using plant allies and really developing a relationship with the plants that you're working with for your health and fitness goals is something that's so important. Consider also making an oil for yourself. This oil in particular is very Venus inspired. So it has rose oil in it and a ton of jasmine buds and then a couple other different types of oil as well. But again, going back to our fitness and weight loss correspondences of cinnamon, peppermint, ginger, cardamom, you know, things that are really stimulating to the system, create a concoction of these plant allies that you have now potentially developed a relationship with that you can massage into the skin. But massage is so great for fitness and weight loss. And I could go on a whole rant all the things that massage can do for you. First of all, massaging an area increases protein synthesis. So it actually helps your body get stronger, get rid of lactic acid after workouts. It flushes the area, stimulates the muscles. And massage with diet and exercise really can help your body go through a process of weight loss. This oil in particular that I have made with the influence of Venus. I performed it on a Friday during the hour of Venus. I used a lot of different correspondences that I know Venus would like, because rather than Mars and Sun energy, which I've kind of been talking about this entire video, I've talked about Mars, which is like this really aggressive punch of energy, and the Sun, which just brings in some beautiful vitality and health in general. Venusian energy is so delicate and sensual, and it really helps you get in tune with your body. It's really great for aesthetics. And so at night, before I go to bed, I take my oil and I will massage certain areas of my body. So I will massage my stomach area. I feel like so many people neglect the stomach because we're all so self-conscious, but really just massaging that area and helping you get reconnected with parts of your body that you're maybe a little bit disconnected from, I think is so important. Also, again, it just helps kind of flush the area out in general. But you can do just some gentle circles over the stomach. You can massage other areas of your body that you may be self-conscious of, like your arms, your legs, whatever it is. I did want to mention at least crafting an oil, potentially bringing in some planetary magic like I did, working with Venus, Mars, or the Sun, or maybe another planet. And then every night, as you massage yourself with this magical oil, you are visualizing yourself at your goal weight and at peak fitness. The last thing that I want to show you in this video is my brand new toy, because I'm very, very excited about it, and I've had it for about a week now. It's incredible. Oh my gosh, it was such a splurge. I will say that it was pretty pricey. I think it was around $150. So this was absolutely a birthday present to myself, definitely a splurge. But this is the LifePro. It's like a shaker plate, shaker platform, vibrating platform, whatever. I think it has a couple different names. There's a bunch of different knockoffs too. So I'll link this one in the description box of the video if you want the actual LifePro one, which is like top-notch, good quality. But if you search on Amazon for these vibration platforms, you could probably get a knockoff for a little bit cheaper. Anyways, so you stand on these, and there's so many health benefits to these shaker plates. So let me turn this on, and then I'll kind of show you what I mean. So this is level 1. It goes all the way up to level 5, so it gets even more intense. But you basically stand on this, and it helps with lymphatic drainage. It actually is supposed to simulate a workout, and I've read the studies. I know that sounds a little weird. It's like, okay, simulating a workout, yeah, right. But I read some studies on elderly patients where they used this, and it actually improved the strength of their leg muscles, which was incredible to see. So there's different platforms. If you put your feet in the center, it simulates walking. If you put it in the middle, it simulates jogging. And if you put your feet on the outside, it simulates running. So it's really good for improving strength in your legs. I personally use it for lymphatic drainage, because that is just something that women, especially women with hormonal imbalances, need, is lymphatic drainage. Without proper lymphatic drainage, you can get moon face, where you have a really puffy face, which is what I often get with a lot of my health issues. My face is really like puffy and round. This has been slimming down my face because of the lymphatic drainage. It's so amazing. And it's good for anxiety. Just the process of your body rocking and shaking is so, so good. It soothes the nervous system. It also reduces tension in your muscles. So I like standing on this after a workout. It's so good for just like shaking things up, getting the circulation going, relaxing my muscles. So I stand on this. The way I incorporate this magically is I stand on this for 15 minutes a day. That's usually the recommended, is like 10 to 15 minutes a day. And then when I'm standing on this thing and it's vibrating and I'm rocking back and forth, I close my eyes and I use that 10-15 minutes to meditate. And when I'm meditating, I am literally visualizing all the blockages in my body being broken up, shaken apart. I visualize this life force coming in through me, through my feet, through the crown of my head, clearing out all the gunk, all the garbage, and only leaving me with this purely healthy body. So it's such a great way to incorporate something like this into your meditations, your visualizations, whatever it is. But I love this thing so much. It's amazing. I'm so glad I splurged on it. So I just had to throw this in the video because it's awesome, and I want everybody to get one of these. I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you're interested in becoming a channel member, check out the link in the description box. I will see you all in a video soon. Bye, everyone.